Oh, hey, it's Michael Smallwood.
You can just interrupt like that.
He can just interrupt. That's what's going to happen. That's how it's going to happen. Hey, Michael, can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let me turn up your volume a little bit. Okay, everybody's excited that Michael is in the house.
Can everybody hear Michael?
Hi, everybody. What's going on?
It's pretty quiet for us, but I also have our volume turned down kind of low, so there we go. Let's see. Hopefully that works for us. At least we'll be able to hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to the Detroit Evolution cast stream. You are the first one here, and we'll be joined by Maximilian at 12:30. And Michael, we're going to ask you a few questions about yourself and about Detective Chris Miller in Detroit Evolution. But if you want to stick around after your bit, feel free. I think Maximilian after his bit's just going to stick around till the end, so it'll give you a chance to meet the new cast if you want.
All right, cool. I'll stick around as long as I can.
So some people in the chat are like, still not over that Chris is a detective. We stand Detective Miller. So tell me a little bit about that as far as where is Chris at sort of the start of Detroit Evolution and kind of what is non-spoilery, I suppose. What is he kind of
like, how much can I say about it?
what is he kind of dealing with in this film versus in Detroit Awakening?
The thing I'm really excited about for Chris in this movie is we're gonna get to sort of dive into, without obviously getting too much into what happens in the story. We get to dive into a little bit of Chris's interactions with androids. We mentioned in Detroit Awakening, his interaction with Marcus and the big scene where Marcus spares his life, and so we kind of get to deal with Chris's processing and dealing with that trauma in this one, and how he feels, his emotions, his anxieties around being with other androids. Knowing what he has done to them in the past and how he has moved on from that and how he interacts with them now, which is really exciting to sort of get to dive into.
Hashtag evolution.
Yeah. So I'm super looking forward to getting to play with a lot of that, how that sort of past behavior for him and that incident can continue to stick with him, and how he's trying to atone for it.
Yeah, and one thing that was really important for me in the writing was that, in Detroit Awakening, it was a very short film, and it was you could only focus on so many things in 15 minutes. And Chris was very much a support character in that film, and was kind of there to shed wisdom on both of the other characters and be a mediator between them. And one thing I really wanted to do in Evolution was not have him do that again, was to give him his own thing that wasn't just there to like wingman for Reed and Nines, or to just be, a mediator between them, but to actually have his own sort of like arc that tied into the larger themes.
And he really does. Like, it's very exciting to sort of get to see this and sort of have like a lot to get to dive into with him. It's really nice. I'm really looking forward to it.
Let me see if I have any fan questions for you. I had a lot of Instagram questions. Pillow asks, what for anybody, but I think this would be an interesting one for you because I know that you're not a big fan of the genre. Favorite horror film?
Ooh, okay. So I'll say that the last few years have been really, really good for horror movies, and I've actually gotten more and more into them in the last few years. So I think my favorite horror movies, I don't think I have a singular favorite one. I mean, Psycho, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Psycho is my favorite horror movie. I really do love that movie. I'm a big fan of. Oh wait, no. What am I thinking? How dare I? How dare I? My favorite horror movie is Scream. It's the Scream.
Same.
I love the Scream movies, and I always have. They're amazing. Lately, I've been really into movies like, I really loved Get Out and Us. They were both great. I really like The Quiet Place. Apparently, I am really into comedy. I'm really into horror if the director has an extensive comedy background. That's big for me. Um, I also really loved Raw, like the movie Raw. If anyone saw it, it's so good and features one of the most repulsive images I've ever seen on screen. It made me scream out loud. Because I was like, what I screamed was, "How dare you think you can show me that in a movie? That's not okay."
Okay. So this is not Eddie Murphy's Raw.
No, no.
I'm gonna step in here and say that, as the chat's pointing out, this was your opportunity to get in good with the director and say live screen.
Oh my god.
I really like Live Scream. I've seen Live Scream. It is great. If you haven't seen Live Scream, you actually should see it. It's really cool, and it like mixes genres that I really like. It's kind of a found footage movie too, which I really like because I really like found footage movies.
You were fortunate enough to see it in a theater.
I got to see it in a theater. Yeah, it was really cool. If you didn't see it in a theater, guys, I don't know what to tell you. It's like Avatar. If you didn't see it in the theater, I don't know that you saw it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're literally wearing a live scream shirt.
Yeah. Let me see if we've got any other quick ones. What's your favorite cereal from Tea Party of the Damned?
Cereal's been a big topic lately.
Cereal has been a big topic. Yeah. Same. That's the only right answer.
I'll go Frosted Flakes, and like if they're around, but Lucky Charms, yeah.
Frosted Flakes annoy me because they're pointlessly not gluten-free.
They're not gluten-free.
They should be.
Crunch Berries. I also really like Crunch Berries.
Let's see. This one's interesting. What is your worst job-related experience? From Lone Lion.
That you're allowed to talk about.
That you're allowed to talk about.
My worst job-related experience.
There was this train on set.
Oh. That train's still going to this day.
I'll say. Oh man. Okay. So I'll say. I'll say that I was in a play once that I basically had to get someone else to come in and direct. Yeah. Like so. I was in this play and really great script. And some of the cast were great, but like one of the actors was terrible to work with. And he would do this thing when we were rehearsing where, so like I learn lines very quickly. So I was off book, but he was still learning his lines and we would run scenes like during rehearsal. And he would do this thing where he would say his line and then he would mutter like my lines. And then like just as if to go like, we're moving on, and then go into his next line. And I was like, what's happening? And I looked at the director to be like, what is going on? And the director was doing nothing because he did nothing for much of the process. So we got like a week out from opening and I went to the artistic director and was like, I don't trust the director. This other actor's driving me crazy and I don't know how the show looks. So I'm terrified to open the show. And it was really great because she came in and like watched the rehearsal and then she basically like started directing us around him. And luckily I was like, oh great, now I can actually open the show.
Good Lord.
It was awful. That was really bad. I also used to work at Blockbuster when they knew they were closing. So that was not fun because that was a lot of like, this week we're going to do this. It's going to save the company. And then a week later, nope, actually, this is the new plan. It's going to save the company. We're all like, none of this is going to save your company. Why are you doing this to us? Like, we're just
had to save this company 3 years ago.
Yeah, we're just getting used to the ridiculous plan you had last week. Why are you changing things?
Okay, so since you've played DBH, we can ask this question from Descartes. If you would describe yourself as a character in DBH, who would it be? I know who your favorite characters are, but what character are you most similar to?
I don't know.
I think mine is Fan and Gavin. Not Canon Gavin, but Fan and Gavin. I'm just
I
trash.
don't think I don't know. I mean, I don't know how he was as a young man, but Carl, maybe? I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. Like
Maybe,
kind of just artistic and kind of living an artistic
can I just
life and
can I be Carl as an old man? Like, tatted up and rich? I'll take that.
I like that. I
I
would
could see that.
me too. Yeah. I could definitely see that as well. I could also see myself growing into Hank. Like I could see myself as Hank in 30 years.
But in 30 years, you're not going to hate technology because you have an iPhone.
Okay, this is fair,
I
but
hate iPhones.
I do hate iPhones. I will
But
be
like,
able
you're not
to
going to be
drive
like,
a car.
lousy technology. What are we doing? It's like, but no, but none of the millennials are going to be that kind of old people.
I know.
We already have a Roomba.
We do have a Roomba already. I mean, that's
Robots in your house right now.
um Aesthesophic wanted to ask everybody this, and this kind of ties back with the first question, but this is more broad. How do you like the script for Detroit Evolution? Like, what are your general sort of reactions to what we're going to be doing?
Oh man, I can't wait for you guys to see what Michelle has written for this movie. It's so I mean I love it. I think it's really good. Um, I would think it was a really cool story, even outside of it being a continuation of Detroit Awakening or a continuation of Detroit Become Human. It's still like a like really great story. There's a really cool mystery at the heart of it. The relationship stuff with Gavin and Nines is all really cool. Like, I'm excited for how excited all of you are going to be when you like, because I've already read it, so I know what happens, but you guys don't, and I just it's so cool. I wish I could tell you guys everything that's going to happen, but I can't do it, and wouldn't if you asked me, because no spoilers. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm super excited. I really like it. Um, it's a lot longer.
It is.
A lot longer, yeah.
It.
Yeah.
I think I can full disclose. It's 71 pages. I think at this point, which is with Brett Mullen probably going to be an 80-minute movie. Because so our DP Brett Mullen, he's worked with a lot of people before that I really like, and he just does amazing work. And Bill Mulligan, who is a filmmaker he's DP'd for him before. Bill was like, I didn't expect that when I wrote the phrase, she walked down the stairs in my script, it would be 45 seconds of runtime in my movie. Because
Wow.
Brett just like made it this gorgeous like centerpiece of the opening of the film, of just like spiraling down this spiral staircase with the camera and stuff, and it was just like this whole beautiful thing. And so now I'm like, is this gonna be 90 minutes? I don't. How am I going to? How is it going to turn into?
Write the stage direction very specifically so.
But the thing is, we're shooting in 7 days, which is really tight, and I'm trying to only keep every day to 12 hours. So we've got like 7 locations, so we won't probably do location moves in any days. By 7 locations, I don't mean like 7 rooms, but 7 places that we will shoot in multiple different rooms. So, I mean, there might be like 12 quote locations in the script. Yeah. But I am kind of like, he's shooting on, a camera that is a little more complicated than the camera that I, shot Detroit Awakening on. It's not like pop up and go. So yeah, and not just the camera itself, but also the rigging. Like setting up dollies, setting up steady cams. I don't know what his plans are for that. I don't know how complicated he wants to get with that sort of stuff, or what time we'll have to get complicated. Since was kind of a good learning experience with, oh yeah, having a good DP means that you can't do 12 pages in 12 hours. But we gotta.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also really excited for that because remembering how cool everything looked in Sense, I was like, oh man, like look at these shots are gorgeous. And like you've been talking up this RDP, and I'm very excited to see what he does visually with the stuff with everything.
Kim is saying, tempted to tweet about the filming when it starts like day one of filming or something like that. I encourage you to. We will probably be posting pictures from the set and stuff. Although I had a terrible dream last night. I dreamed that we were filming Detroit Evolution, but we were in a location that hadn't been cleared out. It was super dangerous. It was like a construction site for some reason. That's not in the script, but we were shooting the entire movie at like a construction site. It was so dangerous and like everything was terrible. And
I'm just
also
picturing the audio problems.
and again, and also on day 3 of the shoot, I realized that I had forgotten to hire a behind the scenes videographer and that we had no behind the scenes content at all. And it wasn't until day 3 that I realized that this had slipped through the cracks. And I woke up and I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God that was fake.
I woke up in the middle of the night, apparently last night, and yelled to my bewildered wife, "Did I miss my cue?"
Yes.
I stepped up and was like, "I missed my cue. When is it?" And she's like, "You're in bed."
Is that the actor version of having like the homework nightmare?
I guess so. Yeah. I
And
mean,
they just jump in.
oh, look who it is!
Hi.
Look who it is!
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Wait, who has the dog? Maximilian has the dog?
Yeah, I'm dog sitting.
Oh, I heard a dog.
Yeah,
Oh, doggo.
that's me.
Oh.
I mean, I have a dog. She's just not around here.
Right. She's a grumbly bear, but she's very sweet.
That's a very cute dog.
Yes, it's my friend Shane's. I'm dog sitting for the weekend. But hi.
Hi, welcome. He's showing off the
Yay.
guns as usual now.
You know, if I'm gonna be in there 5 days a week, I'm gonna show them up. Okay.
That's the whole point. That's the whole reason you're working out.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's
Michael.
like when people get tattoos on their back. Why? You can't see it. Like what's it for? You paid all that money. You should get it
So
tattooed
you have to be shirtless all of the time.
where you and other people can see it because you paid the money and it's art. Show it off,
I feel like it might be best for me to stay out of the chat, but now I'm morbidly curious. No,
No, they're all being very appropriate.
I never
Yeah.
see this.
just wait. Just wait.
Maximilian's definitely gonna forget some of his wardrobe on set so he can show off his arms.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we're going to
God.
Oh, I forgot the jacket.
we're going to exclusively dress nines in wife beaters now.
Oh, okay, great, cool.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at people defending my honor / my name in the chat. I really love that. Thank you.
It's a copy pasta at this point.
Look, guys, I miss Talia too, but like, you get a really cute dog. There's another cat here too, if he'll come out eventually. But yeah, you'll see.
Thank you, Bioluminix, for subscribing. And I see a few people subscribing. It is September, which I always point out how unfortunate that naming convention is for Twitch, but it's September, which means that you get half off tier 1 subscriptions to Octopunk, which means they're only $2.50 a month for September, so you can get a 50% discount if you subscribe today. So, a little way, and we still get all the royalties. So, at least there's no weird ads trolls in the chat this time. That was so weird the other day. But
Slowly
yeah.
weeding out the weirdos.
Yes. So Maximilian, we were talking a little bit about the script and where Chris Miller is kind of going with the script. So I'm going to ask you, without spoiling anything, you got to keep that Tom Holland instinct in check.
You are Tom Holland. Is that what that-
What?
Leave Holland alone. He's been through enough. He's been
Okay.
through.
So, where is Nines kind of at the beginning of this movie, and what is his journey kind of about in Detroit Evolution?
Okay, so as you guys know, it's set a year after Detroit Awakening. Nines has sorry, what?
Spoilers.
I hate you. So it's set a year after Detroit Awakening. Nines has really settled into his personality almost completely, I would say. I mean, he doesn't get much social interaction outside of his job and the people that he works with, especially since he's around Gavin basically 24/7. The only time that he's not around Gavin is when Gavin's sleeping. So basically, I think what some people should expect is a much less android sort of style of performance, I guess. Since Nines has settled in so much to who he is, it's going to actually be a fully developed, almost human being in front of you. I mean, there's still going to be some of that endearing kind of awkwardness, and there's still plenty of things, just like any human, that Nines needs to learn throughout this process. But you should expect less fear and anxiety about who he's going to become, and a lot more confidence and I dare say influence from Gavin on his personality as well. So yeah, you get to really see Nines in a way that has never really been reflected before outside of like fiction and stuff like that. And actually fully realized person. So yeah, and so throughout the movie, he God, it's so hard not to spoil it.
It's like playing Taboo.
Real
yeah,
hard.
Yeah. You'll see him and Gavin's relationship develop a lot. You'll see a lot of a lot less apprehension in the way they. I mean, there never was apprehension in the way they spoke to each other. Let's be honest. But I guess that there's a lot more confidence between the two that whatever they say to each other is not going to be taken a certain way and like distract them from their work, because at the end of the day they're both workhorses, and that's one thing that they bond over, is how dedicated they are to the DPD and making things better in Detroit. So yeah, I think also another facet too, without giving too much away, is that Nines becomes kind of slightly fascinated by other androids as well, especially now that he's kind of come out of this like anxious nightmare that he used to be. He's kind of curious now to see and hear other people's experiences as deviants and what that's meant to them. So that plays a small part in some of the stuff that goes on. And I think that's all I'm going to say, because I know if I keep talking, I'm going to spoil it.
Well, I can say one thing in relation to the theme of evolution for Nines, is this idea of moving past what he was designed for. At this point, he, you know, in Awakening, he was kind of like, I was designed for this, but I want to be something else. And so you're right that at the beginning, he's kind of already realized, you know, what that is, that he wants to be, you know, who he wants to be. So it's a little bit about like, I was able to break free of the person that I was, you know, or designed to be, or that the person that I used to be. And also because I was given a chance by Marcus, because somebody gave me the chance to be different. Pretty much all of the characters in the film have some kind of defining moment of, I was in this bad spot, or I did this bad thing, or I was designed to be this way. But with a chance, when somebody offers me the chance to be different or to grow, do I take that or do I not? And then the resulting evolution that happens. So that's my writer perspective coming in with kind of how I wrote each of the characters, and they all sort of feed into that same theme, the original characters and the canon characters.
Absolutely.
Let me see if I have any questions from Instagram.
If Maximilian's gonna eat, I'm gonna eat.
Oh, you're gonna go get some food? Why not?
I'm nomming on a sub sandwich, don't mind me.
That sub looks good, buddy. Where's it from?
Subway. That had to be quick. I was in a rush this morning. But it's very good. You know, I never hate on Subway, actually. I don't even know why I said it like that.
Listen, I'm a fan. Sweet onion chicken teriyaki all the way.
That Italian urban cheese bread. Why would you get anything else?
Yes. Oh my God. That's exact. Oh my God.
I get the 9-grain wheat because I get a foot long of whatever I get, so I have to like assuage that somehow. So right now I have a spicy Italian, and it's incredible.
Somebody asked, I think I can have this with you two here, maybe not later. Somebody asked, what will be the hardest thing to shoot in Detroit Evolution? So yeah, I'm trying to dance around that and be like, I don't.
You answer first.
I would.
Yeah, boss, you answer, because I'm not even gonna try.
I would say, I mean, you can both approach this from an actor standpoint if you want. I can say from a technical standpoint, it hasn't really been a secret about that we're gonna do like combat. We do have a fight choreographer. We have a stunt coordinator. I'm not sure if I can tell you who he is for reasons. But with that, I'm not going to get into. But basically, we have an entire day before we shoot where some actors are going to be in stunt rehearsal for what we have planned for stunts and combat. So figuring out how to do that was a little bit tough. I hope it translates to screen well. I hope that that's enough time for everybody to get together what they need to get together choreography wise. I don't know what my DP is going to think. That it's just something I've never done before. And I have to make sure that it's safe. I have to make sure that the location serves, that we have extra equipment and mats and stuff for it. You know, it's stuff I've never done before. So I would say the combat element is going to be one of the hardest things, I think. Like, I don't really think a lot of this movie actually is just kind of like conversations. So
there's stuff in the script that's definitely like emotion. There are going to be emotional scenes that will be difficult to sort of like land well, I think. I'm thinking of one in particular.
For you? Or
yes.
Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about.
It's going to be an interesting scene to try and
He got cereal.
yeah.
Is the DP going to be at the choreography?
I don't know. Probably not. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, no, I was just saying that there's, you know what scene I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting to sort of see how it feels. I've already started thinking about that. That's the scene I'm probably thinking about the most.
Why would there be bugs in this cereal?
It was a whole thing.
Okay.
What about you, Maximilian?
Man, this is hard. I'm going to definitely piggyback on the combat because I've done a few sort of smaller like stage combat things for stage, but it's very different for film. And for this, it's going to be definitely longer, I feel. And so that's going to be challenging for sure. There's really the most challenging thing is a complete spoiler. So I just
Okay.
The fight. We'll say the fight for now. We'll say
You're gonna have to tell me what that is later, though, because I'm curious now.
Yeah, I'm also curious what you're thinking.
Just send a message to the group chat or something.
Yeah, I'm very curious now.
We'll chat.
Yeah, so let me see if there's anything else in Instagram that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, I guess we just kind of let slip that I'm one of the people fighting, so...
I think that was kind of a given, so we're okay. Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know how we even dare talk about what scenes are hard for us, because even
Maximilian.
Whoops.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair to say that, I mean, Nines is going to be at least part of the ass kicking that is going to happen.
Just
Which
like that.
side is he going to be on, though?
I don't know. Maybe both. Maybe he's fighting himself. You don't know. I mean, that happened in the base game.
Ooh, stay tuned.
Let's see. I've got a lot of questions there, like, how excited are y'all? And it's just like impeccably, like, although every time Kim gives like another countdown, it's like 40 days left at this point. I'm like, oh my god, that's so soon. I need to start ordering costumes. Actually, let's talk about that a little bit, because we actually have not talked about this yet, really, but I want to know your thoughts on like how your costumes are going to evolve, considering that both of you have different, like, you're in different places. Like, Chris doesn't have to wear his officer uniform anymore because he's a detective.
That's the biggest thing. Like, I'm gonna have civilian clothes. I'm gonna have, like, my detective dress, like not the DPD uniform. So that
We'll have to figure out what that's gonna look like. Yeah.
yeah, like, what does Chris wear when he's not in the uniform? Interesting.
And what about you, Maximilian?
Um, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of fiction around Nines is accurate wardrobe wise. You know, he's known to be in all black, very sleek fitted sort of stuff. I can't guarantee we'll go long sleeve. I can't guarantee we'll go short sleeve. I really don't know what route we're going, but I do know it's going to be very sleek, futuristic. I know we're definitely trying to go a little bit more of an androgynous route, which is really fun. And that might be just for a certain part of the movie. Again, trying not to give anything away.
I can't guarantee there will be any sleeves.
They're oh my god, just everything's a sleeveless cutoff.
Or like a little like tube top.
I want to shout out Bioluminex for suggesting that Chris just dressed in the funky Hawaiian shirts that Hank prefers.
Can we please? Can we
shout that out? Because I mean, it's not the worst idea.
At least once, yeah. And then somebody, Chicago Reads his trench coat. Yes, I'm actually going to try to get a white leather like trench coat. Like at least for the exteriors for Nines, that's going to be a thing for sure. I think I want him to still have like a white coat. Well, I checked the weather last night for when we're shooting, and it's going to be like 55 degrees.
Don't do leather.
Pleather, whatever. River Jane asks, I heard Nines is going to have a different hair color. Is it okay to say which one?
Would you like me to do it? Is it cool to say?
Yeah.
So we're going neon pink. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. So in an effort to kind of have him evolve and more settle into his self, which, you know, at the core is kind of at least physically a copy of RK800 and Connor. We're definitely going to, I mean, under this lighting, it seems like there won't be much change, but it's going to be definitely like a darker sort of like rich, like chestnut sort of brown. And so, yeah.
Descartes brown, as we call it.
Yes, Descartes brown. So basically any of like Brian's like outdoor like headshots where he's like all like, ooh, like moon-eyed and stuff like that. That's the hair color we're going for. And also, as you can probably tell, I'm starting to grow my hair out a lot more. It'll be thicker on the sides a little bit, and probably keep most of the length on top. But yeah, we're gonna go a little darker, and it'll be fun anyway. Because I've been wanting to dye my hair for no reason at all for months now. So now I have a reason.
Yeah. Well, it was so funny that it was your idea, and I was so glad that you came up with the idea because I wanted to ask you if you could do it. But I was kind of like, can I afford the budget to like make him dye his hair or whatever? And then he was just like, I want to dye my hair brown. What do you think of it? I was just like, please do.
You should. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Because it is something that there's certain details that we weren't able to nail with Detroit Awakening because it was quickly done and we didn't know each other and, you know, we didn't have the budget and stuff. But
you guys remember when we didn't know each other? That's so crazy.
I know.
That was earlier this year, guys. This year we didn't know each other.
It also feels like Detroit Awakening was so long ago, but
it feels like 3 whole years.
It was.
It really does. But yeah, so one thing I noticed when I was editing Detroit Awakening, and I was doing a lot of the back of Maximilian's head, is that we probably should have trimmed and cut and shaved a little closer to make it a little more clean, neat lines, whatever. So that's something I'm going to keep out for on this version as well.
Lines, for sure. This is also a bad example. Okay, don't look. This is awesome.
So yeah, we're kind of, even though you're going in a more human direction from the standpoint of the way you behave, we actually are going to regress a little to try to make you look more androidish on the outside. And a little bit more like the Canon 9s, because I think you do actually look very close to the Canon 9s, but your hair needs to be a little darker and just a little different and stuff. So yeah.
And that's honestly been a big thing about, well, I mean, not a big thing. I like to go to the gym regardless, but it's definitely been a big motivator for me to be more active in the gym as well. I think you'll definitely notice a physical difference from Detroit Awakening to Detroit Evolution for sure.
Get it? You're working out.
I don't know. Like, I work out, I guess. Like, no, but yeah, that's been a big factor of mine. Like, not to say that Brian Deckhart is like ripped by any means, but like at least kind of matched that sort of like body type. I guess a little more bulk in the shoulders and stuff like that. So yeah, just a little bit more easing towards Deckhart Brown and just Deckhart in general.
Yeah, I would say it's interesting that looking back on like behind the scenes footage and stuff from DA, you look very different already just from comparisons to, and I think even when we did Detroit Become Heels, when you were wearing this jacket, you were like, oh, this is more snug. I feel this jacket out better already than I did before.
Yeah, that was a nice little measure of progress. I was like, yay, things are actually happening.
Well, and also like when we did Synths, it was funny because I was like, we need to cover your arms. I said because Seth doesn't go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, we need to put on a damn jacket.
Yeah, so you're making great progress. It's really cool to see you transform even more into this character on a physical level. And we're all very excited to see how it stacks up against our new cast members, Carla and Chris and Jillian, and then the new things that you're getting to do, like the combat and stuff. I would say it's so hard to ask questions about DE without spoiling.
I got a question. Why don't I get like a lower, what is that, a lower 16th?
A lower 16th? Oh, because it says Michelle, because it's not Octopunk, because I'm on my personal account, not my Octopunk account. I accidentally got pro on the personal account. I don't know. I can change it later. So, I totally lost my train of thought.
You're welcome.
Wait, you were saying
I was talking about things that we can't spoil. So one thing I kind of want, when we were originally talking about doing a sequel, when we were right after DA, 3 days after DA, and we were doing Q&A, people already were like, what do you want to do for part 2? There were a lot of things that we talked about, that we wanted more women, that we wanted a larger cast, that we wanted combat. And what's cool to me is that we're achieving almost all of the things that we wanted to do. I will say I don't get my big one-take, 6-minute long John Wick fight scene that I wanted to have, you know. And also... Huh?
I said only 6 minutes?
And I would say the other vestigial thing that kind of didn't get kept... don't expect the guys to go undercover at any part. That was in an earlier outline. They went undercover, but I just couldn't make it work with the story that we tell. It just didn't make any sense. But we have some cool new things, like being able to have JJ in as a new character as Lotso, the android black market.
I've been saying Lazo this whole time.
We haven't decided because it's really Lazo, but the proper Italian pronunciation is Lotso, like pizza, when you have two Z's. Sure. Which I'm sure Simona can confirm, as she has already in the chat before. But yeah, it's one of those things of we're kind of, in writing the script, I kind of had to swap out, you know, that we had so many ideas. And there was some stuff that we could keep, and then there was other stuff that we kind of had to say, okay, we don't really have time for that, or we don't really have...
Chartreuse?
Yeah, this is the Chartreuse. We need to figure out the Chartreuse cameo. We need to find out this. One thing that might, unfortunately, get less screen time than we originally thought was Gavin's cat. Because Christian Data is allergic to cats. We're still going to try to have Asshole the cat in there to some degree, but... Oh my gosh, I see a child.
Chartreuse said, make me a fucking star.
Hi!
Very loud.
Hi, Lillian.
Oh. I was like, where's that coming from? Is it still on Michelle and Austin's cam right now?
Oh, you don't have it on gallery mode?
I don't. I didn't even notice there for a second because it was doing so well. Okay, that's much better.
Okay.
There we go. Now I can see everyone. Eldrew. Hi.
Woof.
Merida.
Hi, everybody.
The puppy was saying hi to your daughter as well.
All right, you gonna go back?
So cute.
Wait. That's in the cord. Okay.
Guys, I really don't like kids, but that is the cutest kid ever.
Yeah, my kid
ever.
I'll adorable.
This is an interesting question. I think from I don't know if I already asked this because I know I already asked a question from this person. Did I already ask? Do you and your characters have common traits?
Oh.
Well, do you want to go first, or what do you want to do, Michael?
You go ahead.
Okay.
You lead us first.
I feel like I would hope and pray daily to have the level of measured control before I speak that Nines does. But also, when I say that, he doesn't really think a lot at all before he speaks. But it's just he's so much more
Scripted.
articulate than I am. And just so much quicker on the uptake in general. I mean, I feel like I definitely related to him a lot in Awakening, because especially at that point in my life, you know, there were a lot of fun anxiety things happening to me. And yeah, so there was a lot of familiarity there. But in this film, it's been awesome with this process, especially getting to talk to Michelle and Michael and everyone else like about the creative process from the get-go of Evolution. I feel like, for lack of a better word, I feel like I have evolved with this character. So I feel like I'm very tapped into his mindset and his heart and his intentions and stuff like that. And I think because of that, and because of how immersed in this world that I am in now, that since Awakening, it's kind of, I've kind of had no choice but to have Nines rub off on me in some of the best ways, I have to say. So I would say yes. However, we both could learn something from each other for sure.
What about you, Michael?
You know, what's interesting about Chris is, and something I definitely recognize in myself as well, is that Chris seems to very much be like, you know, I'm here to do the job. I'm here to do the job well, and I'm here to like facilitate all of us doing the job well, which I like. You know, I like to meet I'm ready for everybody to get back to set and for us all to like dive right in and to help out in any way. But what's really interesting too is that Chris is somebody who, you know, takes on and particularly in this one, taking on the new challenge of being detective and knowing that he has a lot to learn, but also like he's not afraid to do the job. He's not freaking out about the new position. He's just excited and ready to get started. And that is something that I do a lot of, like always taking on a new challenge and loving when an opportunity comes along of like, I've never done this before. Great, let's do it. Like I'm ready to jump right in. And I'm going to look to the people around me who have done this before and see how they're doing it. And then I'm going to start doing it.
And that's been kind of like a thing of mine where I'm like telling myself to like preemptively calm down, because I also have that same like enthusiastic, like, hey, I'm so happy you're here. Let's get started. Can I do anything to help you? And it's going to be so overbearing if I don't calm down. But like, I just like, we got so close on Awakening, all of us. And like, we really have like this wonderful mutual respect and like almost effortless communication with each other. And I just want to like smother them with my love and friendship and be like, join us in our family now. But yeah, I'm so excited to meet everyone. Especially in like 15 minutes I get to meet Carla. So
3. She's
I
at 1.
that's so.
And then Chris is at 1:15.
Yeah.
Oh, so I get to meet Carla soon. Yay, that's awesome.
Yeah, and speaking of that, it was really important in casting to kind of look at somebody who we thought their personality would mesh with ours, not just the audition was good or that they, were obtainable as far as like scheduling and stuff, but also that they seemed like a good person, that they seemed like a collaborative person, that they weren't intimidated by what we've kind of built. A lot of the new actors have gotten fan art within 24 hours of, being announced and stuff. And
Thank you to Lone Lion for that. You have been epic for the speed and the quality of your art. You are wonderful, Lion. We love you so much.
How I like it's like you must already have pre-renders done anyway.
oh my
like,
god,
I know so much prep.
These are just my templates, and as soon as I know what their faces look like, I'm gonna fill the rest of it. Like, what's going on? There's no way. I
You
gotta
should watch one of their live streams sometime. They do it on Instagram, and it's.
I saw I think they posted on their story or through just one of their posts, one of the speed through, it goes through the whole process really quickly, and it's just fascinating and so intricate. Oh my god! For me to try to do something like that, oh my god, it would take me days.
A lot of it too. It's not. I mean, all the fan art's been amazing. Can I real quick say something about that too? Just jump on what we were talking about hiring people and bringing them into our community.
Mm-hmm.
Like the intimidation thing is something that we all kind of have in this, particularly when you go to a new set or join a new project. We all get it. I just got it this week for a project that I'm working on where I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to rehearsal and I'm going to sit in and it is just really nice when everyone is there, excited, and everyone's really, really welcoming because it puts you at ease, and being at ease is how you can get the work done. It's because it's very easy to come into a filming situation and you're only there for a little bit of time and be terrified, and that pressure and that terror kind of filter into your performance. But when everyone's welcoming, when you have a really good community of actors who are all on the same page, and it feels really safe, and you can get a lot of great stuff done. So
well, and also there's I think one thing with some shows theater or film, regardless, it's very rare to have actors that are equally as passionate about the work and the work is actually really good. It's just quality, and not to blow smoke Michelle, but Michelle has written a stellar script, and with every update that comes back our way, it just gets better and better and better. She really has fleshed out all of these characters in such a beautiful multi-dimensional light, and I'm just so excited for y'all to see it come to life because it's wonderful.
I think also the credit to that goes to you guys and also to Chris and hopefully Carla down the line as I talk to her more, where there's input from you guys about your character and what we should do and stuff. And I've already taken a lot of advice, and I talked to Michael before I even wrote the script about, hey, there's some things I want to do with Chris, but I'm not sure how to write them into this story. What do you think I should do? And there's the moments for Chris that were Michael's ideas. In fact, I would say the two biggest moments for Chris were both Michael's ideas. And then there's things for Gavin that, Chris Trindade came back and said, what if I did this? And, this would make Gavin look more smart and like a better detective, which I appreciated. So yeah, it's that sort of stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. You really have to trust your actors and have them have input on that. So yeah, you guys help.
Not every director or writer does it, so it's really cool that you're open to taking that back.
Yeah, that's the thing. So there's so little ego on our sets, ever, really, because it's just there's this kind of effortless ability, especially since DA, that we're all always able to switch between, hey, we're in business mode and I need to talk to you and I need to tell you things and we need to get some shit done. And then we can instantly take that hat off and be like, hey, so that was fun. I love you. So that was fun. So
what I liked about when Michelle and I talked about the script before she had even written it, how long, we talked about Chris for a little bit of it, but we also talked a long time just about Gavin and Nines and like the other like and Ada and Tina's arcs. Like we talked about everyone because like it was the overall like the story matters more than like it would be cool if I got to do this. Like it was more like what are we like what all right, what are the story beats that you're trying to figure out? Let's talk through those.
And in a lot of Michelle's work in this in the past and since and everything like that, it's like, Michelle, you're also, and Austin, because I know Austin as well helped write since, you've gotten this like really great formula down where like the films that you do always reflect as an ensemble. It's not like we're following this storyline and now we have this storyline and no one's like related to each other at all. It's like you really have like such great like cohesion between the cast and like their stories, and especially on Evolution, as people will see. There's something so great about how well and how seamlessly everyone ties together.
Carla's here.
Carla, Carla.
Oh, Carla.
Hi.
Hi.
You sideways.
Sideways.
I think she's trying to figure it out.
I think she is.
Oh.
Hi.
I might
There
be
she
able
is, okay.
to actually hold on.
So ...
Oh, I can't change anything about her video. So, Carla, is it possible to turn your phone the other direction? There you go. That's at least a little better.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So nice
So
to
nice
meet
to
you
like
face to face.
officially meet you.
I
Yeah.
know, officially.
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat is very excited.
Have you done one of these streams before, Carla?
Sorry?
Have you done one of these streams before?
No, I've never done this before. I've never been on Twitch. I've never been on Zoom. So this is all new.
Welcome. It's a lot of fun. The chat is going crazy for you. And yeah.
Sorry, I'm outdoors. I'm like rushing. It's the weekend. I have a lot of things to do. I'm sorry.
You're totally fine. You got that natural light.
I just wanted to definitely pop on and say thank you so much for all the support that everyone's been showing. I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm just so grateful and honored.
Aww. And I can say from a behind the scenes standpoint that Carla is literally one of the nicest actors I have ever worked with as far as just communication back and forth, and just she's the absolute sweetest. I'm so excited to see you on set and interacting with everybody. And we actually do have a couple of questions already sent in for you on Instagram. So I'll just throw those your way. I think the most popular one I saw was just sort of a broad question of what drew you to the project and maybe to this character specifically. Like, what is something that you're excited? What is there something about Tina that kind of excites you, or even about the project generally?
So I remember before the audition process, what I read in the description was to not do too much research, because going into it, obviously you want space and room for actors to come in with your own ideas and portray what you feel that connects you to that character. And I read like the little side that I got for the audition, and just immediately I was like, this is such a strong woman, a female empowering character that is not out there too much. I know things are changing and the world is evolving, but I just thought it was great that she's witty. She's very like, she knows how to deal with the boys, and she's also an officer, which is great. For a lot of the actors, I think the struggle for females a lot of the times is that you're occasionally the love interest or the girl next door, and it gets a little you can end up being a little stuck. But an officer, I was like, wow, like I need to be Tina. I need this role.
Yay!
But I got it.
Yay!
Thanks to all of you.
I totally agree with that as well, and I know that you know, Tina may be a supporting character in some ways, but it was very important to me that she isn't a love interest. She's not there to just be like sexualized. You know, I don't think she's sexualized in script at all. She really is just like one of the team. And I think that that's how most of the fans have kind of written her in the past, is that she's there to call Gavin out on his shit. She's there to be efficient and help out with the investigation. Like, she's very much, and one of the things that I actually did in the most recent version of the script is I gave her a couple extra shining moments of like having a bit of wisdom and having input on what they should do, like in kind of the final end parts of the mystery. So yeah, I keep going back and thinking I should add more Tina. I should add more Tina and give more things for her to do, because I love her and everybody else loves her so much.
I'm so honored, but I also have my Valerie to
Oh.
cherish. So
Oh, you're gonna love TRA. We work together on set. She is just like the most like grounded, sweet, humble person. You guys are gonna get along great.
She's really great. I'm so glad we're getting to work with her again.
Yeah.
also
Whenever Michelle was like, "Oh, I think I might on TRA to play Valerie," I was like, "Please, please, please."
And the funny thing about that is that that was another thing, going back to what we were talking about a little earlier before you came in, Carla, is things like when Detroit Awakening came out in March, we did a Q&A stream 3 days later, and people were already asking us what we wanted to do in the second part. And immediately, you know, we talked about we wanted to add more combat, more action. But we also said we definitely need to add Tina, because she was referenced, you know, in conversation in the first one, but she's just such a big fan favorite character, particularly in relation to the characters we're working with, that we knew that we needed to add her. And then once we said that we were adding Tina, everybody's like, you need to give Tina a wife. So I was like, all right. I said, that's cool. That's a common interpretation as well. So, but for me, it was kind of like, I didn't know if it was going to be something that was just referenced off screen, or if we would have at least a chance to show Valerie, or the wife character, on screen. So she is in one scene, guys, in the film. So she's not like a huge through line of the film. But we definitely wanted, I saw an opportunity to bring her on screen and actually have them interact on screen together. And yeah, it was an opportunity to use TRA again. So that was a win-win for everybody. Let me see if I have anything else. I know that there were definitely like people who directed specific questions at Carla. Let's see.
Everyone in the chat is giving you guys a couple name already, because you're now Vina.
Vina. Ship name.
The chat, Carla, the chat is also already demanding a Tina centered spinoff or sequel.
Hey,
Tina
if you guys want to
spin-offs.
crowdfund it.
It's already happening for you, Carla. Welcome. It's already.
Michelle.
Okay, Carla, I have one for you. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but if you do, cool. Do you know your Harry Potter house?
That is a very important question. Take it serious.
It's very important, and I'm very curious about the answer. You don't know, do you?
I mean,
You know what we should do? We should have like,
what's happening?
we should have a behind the scenes sneak from Evolution when we all meet, and like I will like administer the test, and like and it can be like a reveal, like, ooh, let's take bets on what her house is.
If you can't tell, he's a Slytherin.
Very much so.
Oh my!
100%. It's literally on my keys.
It's on my. It's a part of
Oh,
my.
you have the tattoo? I forgot. I keep forgetting. I love it so much.
that's amazing.
But yeah, so that's very exciting. We'll figure that out.
I mean, I have a pretty generic answer, but I think it would be more exciting to actually get together and figure it out
Awesome.
when we're all
Done.
Because sometimes those tests, they're different than what, like, I thought I was a Slytherin for a very long time. But I kept having tests come back and say, you're Gryffindor. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm a Slytherin. And eventually over time, I realized, like, no, I think they were right. I think it actually is Gryffindor. I've got the attention whore shit that Gryffindor is known for. So yeah. Let me see what else. There was one that I saw that I really liked. What is a trait that you think that you have, or maybe we could phrase this differently. How are you similar and how are you different from your character of Tina?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
Asking you the hard-hitting questions.
I think the most similar quality I might have is I'm also a mediator in life. I know how to come between people and kind of make them meet the middle ground in a way. And I think that's what Tina does mostly at the station, getting the boys to harmonize in a way. I think that might be my strongest similarity to her. Something different. I'm not sure.
Oh man, it's a party now.
Hey,
Ah!
we've got Chris Trindade up in here.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Wearing plaid, decidedly looking as least Gavin as possible. I love it.
Yes, coming to you live from my girlfriend's bedroom.
Right, so we've got the whole cast and crew here, cast anyway, main cast anyway. Jillian, if you guys didn't know, wanted to be here but couldn't join us. She is on vacation, but I would say, somebody asked me, like, who are the leads in this film, and I would say, everybody you're looking at plus Jillian. That is basically what I would call the main cast, and then we have a pretty large supporting cast that has also been announced throughout the week, and we have 2 other people in the supporting cast I'll be announcing probably later today on Instagram. So ultimately, I think it's like 11 people who have named roles in the film, which is crazy. Oh, wow. We've gone from 3 to 11, and that's not even counting the extras and the cameos. So. So guys, I know that, we set up different schedules and stuff, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here. Feel free to stick around as long as you want, but if you have to go take care of business or whatever, we understand. But now that we have everybody here, Chris, I'm going to go into your first question with the same question I've kind of asked everybody. What drew you to the project, and maybe what's interesting to you about the character of Gavin?
Well, I think immediately, more than anything else, just like there was a lot of serendipity around how I came into contact with you guys, and so that was just very interesting to me. It was like there's a lot of chance things that happened that got us in contact with each other, and then from there, in the callback, one. Working with Maximilian was just brilliant, and it felt really easy and fun to do. And being able to immediately collaborate and bounce things off of Michelle, and knowing that this was a space that was going to be like welcomed and encouraged, and you to help improve the project, and like that's where everybody's going to be coming from. Like I asked you, I was like, can we have like conferences about character stuff? You're like, oh, I'm already doing that with like the rest of the 11 cast members. I was like, that's amazing. and then I was like, yeah, cool, sign me up. So that's what drew me to the project, specifically the people on it are what drew me to the project more than anything else. And then the character, I mean, like, who doesn't want to play a video game character? Like, come on. So, and Gavin, like this version of this character, because I've read all of this character's dialogue options in Detroit. Like Gavin is like doesn't have too much of an arc within the game, but this, like, he becomes far more 3-dimensional as an individual. I believe. And he's just a very interesting focal point. He's just got a lot. He's just you've built in so many wonderful contradictions to him as an individual, and I enjoy him a lot. So that's kind of what draws me to him. He's kind of a three-dimensional, fully fledged human being with a lot of like, well, he does this, but he also does this, but why? But yes, but why? And then that's kind of all people are, just big balls of contradiction. So I really enjoy being able to play a character like that, because you don't always get to do three-dimensional roles in acting in general. So that's just another thing that drew me to it for sure.
Cool. I've got a question for both Carla and Chris. Just for, I know the answer for Chris, but just for the benefit of the chat. A lot of people were asking if you guys had heard of Detroit Become Human in advance, and or if you had played the game in advance. So Carla, I'm going to start with you.
I'm so sorry, but I actually have not.
Neither
Do
had
not feel
Maximilian.
any shame. No, I knew literally nothing about it before I did the first movie. So like, do not feel like that's a point of shame at all. Do not feel like...
Yes. So like I said before, I didn't do any research before the audition process because I was told not to, and I wanted to respect that. But now, after having been cast in it, I was curious, so I started looking up little things here and there, and then obviously I read the script, so now I'm a little bit more aware of what's happening and who the characters are and what's going on. And I think this is just the coolest thing, that now we live in this day and age where video games are so advanced to a point where it's like a whole movie. There's a plot line, there's characters, there's feelings, and I think this is just amazing what you guys have brought up and made into bringing the characters into life with real emotions, and I think I'm just so excited.
What about you, Chris? You're a video game guy.
Oh man, yeah, I'm a huge video game nerd. I knew all about this game. What up, Chris? Oh, hey, Chris. What up? Yo. So yeah, I had not played this, but I've played other Quantic Dream games. I've played some of Beyond Two Souls. I've played some of Heavy Rain. I actually remember like hunting down a friend who had a PS3 at the time when Heavy Rain came out, because I was like, I gotta play this game. And yeah, dude.
Respect.
As I only had the Nintendo Wii in high school. Huge Nintendo fanboy. But as for Detroit Become Human, I have not played this game, but I've read articles about it, read reviews, watched video reviews, and I know about all like the weird quality of life improvements that they put into this game as opposed to past games. How like you can see the whole timeline of your choices and you can see what you miss and all that stuff. So that's like how Quantic has been like developing their style of game and fleshing it out even more. So I knew a lot about this game. Not particularly plot-wise, because I was like saving that in case I played it. And now I kind of don't want to play the full thing until after we've done this. I've done enough research to know the story and then like to know who my character is and all of it. But yeah.
Yeah, one of the strange things I think about DE, and I didn't realize this until after I wrote it, was that it almost feels like it could be a standalone story in a way. Like almost you don't even need to have watched DA, Detroit Awakening, to grasp kind of where we are and what's happening in the beginning of the movie. I think if somebody is in fandom and really... Or somebody, let's say somebody played the game casually and then jumps into it, I think they would be a little confused about who RK900 is and why is he Kevin's partner and why are they pining for each other. But if you know, if it's somebody like my mom who like hasn't played the game at all and has no context, they're almost at a advantage because they're going in with just like accepting the world kind of as we're showing it to them. But yeah. Chris, we asked Carla this and she didn't know. So we're gonna have to figure it out. But I
love that hat.
Yep. I was looking at Michelle's shirt and I was like, oh man, she got all that video game swag on. I was like, I should have had something. And then I see he's got like his like DVDs, his library behind him. And I was like, I don't have anything. I was like, wait, yes I do. I just don't wear this hat.
You're going to show the hat. I got to show the keyblades. You know what I mean?
Oh, you got to show the keyblades, though.
Oh, I got to. What are we doing? I like this guy.
I should clarify, this is the first time Maximilian and Chris have met, but this is the first time any of the others have met each other. So Carla is new to us, Chris and Michael have not met, so yeah. You're getting to see them meet each other in real time.
That's not on set, y'all.
It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
The day gonna be wild.
But what I was gonna ask, Chris, is do you know your Hogwarts house?
Do I know my Hogwarts house? Did I take multiple online quizzes when I was in high school growing up? Yes, I did. And I always got Gryffindor from all the online quizzes. Then there was part of me that's like, I kind of want to be different. I'll be in Ravenclaw.
So you
But that
chose
was kind of
Ravenclaw?
just to be different. It was like every like online, who are you? And what? Tell me about yourself. I got Gryffindor. And I was like, yeah, that's right. Didn't even try.
I don't think you're supposed to try.
Yeah.
I can tell you that was 100% my guess for your house.
Oh, yeah?
I am a Gryffindor, and we share some similar qualities of being in that house.
So, real quick question since he's new to this. So like, what houses do you think we are?
Oh. Ooh,
You'll
shit.
never guess theirs without
shit.
knowing them more.
All right. I'm just going to take a gamble and say that Maximilian's in Slytherin. You got that? Like, you got that Draco Malfoy vibe.
Draco Malfoy vibe. I have never been more complimented in my life. We're gonna go with the book Draco though, because the movie one sucks. But yes, yeah. I'm very much a Slytherin.
Yes. Yes. Oh man. Michael. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I mean, like he and I seem to have a lot in common already. Are you also a Gryffindor?
No, I am not. Hang on. Wait.
Hey. Oh man.
Slytherin.
What is it?
The Slytherin crest.
The Slytherin crest. Damn, a feather Slytherin. Oh my goodness. Wow. All right. Okay.
It's becoming like hype man over here.
Damn. Yes. Okay. Cool.
Oh, Chris, by the way, when JJ was talking about meeting you, I told him to substitute a handshake or a hug for one of those.
Are we doing this? Is that happening? Are we dabbing?
It's the new
We'll be
greeting
dabbing
for Chris. It's the new part of one of the clearly many reasons why he got the role, but you know. Dabbing on a final callback is not really common.
I was, reading the room.
Yeah, you read it well.
Yeah, within 5 minutes, he was showing us his video game collection. I think he knew what type of people we were.
When you had your Totoro like tapestry in the background too, you were like, "Hi, oh, is that there? Oops.
Oh, is that there? Oh, what? Oh,
how did that get there?
Product placement. Oh."
So earlier, Carla said that she was very good at mediating in real life, and that is very similar to the role of Tina, is helping the boys communicate with each other. And I'm just kind of like, do you like the challenge?
Well,
do you still want the role?
Oh, sorry. This cat is trying to mess with the webcam, so I had to like hold him for a sec. Say hi to Hagrid.
Hagrid.
What up, Hagrid?
Hi.
Look how enormous this cat is.
He's amazing.
That's a lot of cat, bro.
He is
That's
giant.
a lot of cat. Bro, it's a lot of cat.
So much cat. All right, you gonna be good now? Can I let you go? Okay, bye.
Elle was very adamant about out and seeing everybody in the chat. She keeps coming over to see everybody.
Everybody says that this
He's
is
adorable.
a whole chonker of a cat.
Sorry, I'm. Well, actually, this is probably good for you, Chris, because you can like see the cat, but you don't have to be affected by it.
Yes, because I'm so allergic to cats.
Chris, you'll probably appreciate my daughter's name. Her name is Lillian James.
Oh, okay.
She's named after Harry Potter's parents.
Oh man.
Do you call her LJ because her first name is too similar to your wife's name?
No, we call her LJ because we also think that's cool. But the other option, if we didn't call her LJ, we would just be calling her Lillian James every 5 minutes. And it's just,
Dude, LJ's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
No
Every
one's
other kid,
named LJ. Like no one has that name. It's fun.
yeah, some people got like DJ, BJ, maybe, but or CJ, LJ. No, dude, no one else has got that shit.
But yeah, my wife is secretly hoping that when she gets older, she just wants to go by James, and then that will be what we call her.
Oh my goodness.
We could just do that.
So I've asked Michael and I've asked Maximilian this earlier. So for Carla and Chris, we're gonna try to avoid spoilers. So you may have to speak about this carefully. Good luck. But is there a way that you can describe what you think the biggest acting challenge may be for this upcoming film?
Carla?
Chris? Without spoilers, that is,
It's so hard.
You can broadly say I have a scene where I have to be sad, or I have a scene where I have to be but we just can't have context is the thing.
Sorry.
That doesn't help.
I'm trying so hard to throw them a bone, and I know that it's just like
So hard.
Clearly, it's going to be working with the rest of the actors.
I mean, you can talk about behind the scenes stuff too if you want.
The behind the scenes is like, Michelle, you're gonna have content to release for like a whole year after we're done filming. We're like,
How do I?
I know it's hard. Take your time.
Oh man. I would say actually, well, for me, this is gonna be my first feature. So that alone is gonna be a fun challenge. I've been cast in features before, but whether it was like budgeting or whatever it may be, or something changed or whatever this changed, and like tons of stuff just like did not happen. And this will hopefully, fingers crossed, be the first feature that I actually like get to go do. So I've been signed on to several that were like canceled like the day after production.
Oh no.
Yo, legit. Actually, can I tell you a quick story?
Sure.
Super fast. I was once cast in what was going to be the competition to Sharknado 5.
Oh no!
Yeah, dude. This movie was called Space Sharks. It was, I swear to God, it was amazing. And I don't think I can get in trouble for this because I know the movie is not happening and I didn't sign any NDAs or any of that shit. But the script was amazing. It was like sharks in space and then they like infect people and then they turn into shark zombies. It was crazy. And I was the fucking like Han Solo Star-Lord of this movie and I was so ready. They tricked out an old laser tag studio to be like the like ship that we were like filming on. It was so cool. And then I was on set for day 2 and I was like ready to go that morning. And then we all got an email that I got canceled.
No!
Yeah.
Okay, so to immortalize this, I just real quick shout out. I need someone to draw fan art of this. Just anyone, please,
It's
God,
okay if we
make
take
it
on
happen.
next-
It
Hang
can
on.
be a sketch. I just need to see this come to
Can that be
life.
our April
I just need.
I'm going to tell you, Maximilian, I'm going to tell you that it will probably be done in a few minutes because I just got a notification that Lone Lion has already drawn me in my Blockbuster outfit. How are you so fast?
No way, Lion. How are you real right now?
How are you so fast?
Oh my God, Lion just did. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try to put this up.
Right? How?
What?
I just said that like
An hour
30 minutes
ago.
ago.
Wow, the
I-
talent is real.
Love you, Lion.
Amazing.
You are a
Amazing.
national treasure. You are.
A hero.
Oh my God, there's one of me and you as well, Chris.
Yeah.
What?
Which is like weirdly specific, Michelle, to something. I'm not going to spoil it. So I think it's more referring to me talking about working out earlier. So this is the ideal of what I guess they think I'm going to look like in the film.
Oh my god.
It just says, "Wake up, bitch."
So a little bit of context.
And the neon pink hair that I was talking about.
A little bit of the context was that you were going to be
The sleep paralysis demon
in the
for
room.
Gavin.
Yes, I had also seen that. Which I
right.
just don't understand.
Oh my god.
Lion, how? Just how? I think probably what's happening is that while we're doing this stream, like they're set up and like drawing as we go. Probably that's the only explanation here.
Gotta be.
Talent.
Anyway, sorry, that got sidetracked there. But Lion, you're incredible.
That's a good sidetrack. That's a good
fan
sidetrack.
art
Lion,
of
you're killing
space
it.
sharks. We want this.
Yo, seriously, if you do that, I'll send that straight to the director. I still know Sean. He's a buddy. I will send it straight to him and be like, hey man, what could have been? I'm just saying.
And the sharks obviously have to be chartreuse. I mean, this
All of
needs
them.
to be a
All of
crossover.
them, chartreuse.
Yes. So one of the questions that Jas, who runs the Chartreuse Twitter account and now Instagram account at Chartreuse,
I follow. You guys follow? I follow.
Oh, I follow. Oh, by the way, hydrate or dihydrate.
Hey,
Hydrate or dihydrate.
they asked.
hydrate or dihydrate. I've never heard that. Now I'm going to use it forever. Great.
You've never heard that?
No.
I'm going to be honest with you.
You're
I've
welcome.
gotten it from these streams. I've only ever heard it from these streams, and it's perfect.
So Jas asked me if the new actors had heard of Chartreuse's crazy Twitter, and so now you know. This is our shark. His name is Chartreuse. He joins us on our karaoke streams and has his own voice and everything. He does his own songs, and he's become a little bit of our side mascot. So now one of the fans took the initiative to start a Twitter account for him. That is mostly telling people to drink water, bitch, and
Oh my god.
It's a really wholesome account.
and be positive. Positivity shark. So
Chartreuse
shark.
is my mascot.
well, yes, Chartreuse is Austin's.
Okay, so this is actually news to me because I just assumed Austin was running the account.
No, that was my thought too. I thought that it was just like Austin having some fun and being like really wholesome and nice.
That's
And
what
no,
I thought.
it was.
So if you spell Chartreuse the right
Running.
way, I own that account on Twitter.
Okay, all right.
But with
Okay.
the vowels switched, that's not me.
Okay, all right. I see what's happening. I'm caught up.
Ooh, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, not to like steamroll, but like, just if someone was talking about coffee earlier, what is your coffee order or tea?
So what is your Starbucks order? Is essentially the question.
I get it. But even like stuff that like maybe wouldn't even be offered at Starbucks.
But they have nitro pumpkin spice now.
Well, that's his. Yeah.
So there's nothing more to be asked.
Somebody's
like,
flexing with his mug.
I like cold brew.
Mug flex.
I like some cold brew with like almond milk and like lavender if they have it.
Oh.
Like energizes me, but also like relaxes me.
I don't drink.
That's me.
So, I just
Some good old water is Chris's order.
Oh yeah,
Called you Chris.
I tend to go. I'm pretty simple. I get just like medium iced coffee with coconut milk, and then occasionally I'll see if Starbucks has this. They've yet to start carrying it. I'll just be like, yeah, can I just get like a side of student debt relief? And they've yet to say yes, which is a bummer because I know they make a lot of money. I'm just like, just help me out. That's all I'm asking. You know what I mean? Come on, Starbucks.
I would like a cup full of $100 bills in addition to my mocha latte.
Please, you just give me money. What I'm asking is, can you just give me money? Starbucks, please give me money.
That's pretty
They've
good.
yet to start doing this. I really think it's a good business move for them. I'm having a pitch meeting with them next week, so we'll see how that goes.
Because here's the thing, they have the ingredients back there.
Oh, come on. They got the recipe for student debt relief.
They
It's
might
right
have the
now. I can see
They've
it.
got all the stuff. Just here. I'll tell you how.
I watched the CEO's masterclass. He definitely does.
Oh my God.
What about you, Carla? You're in New York, so I'm sure there's some good coffee shops.
Yes. My blood runs pretty much on coffee. I'm a very big coffee person. I think I have maybe 2 or 3 iced lattes every day. I know it's not good for me, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
I
it's
just like
iced down.
simple iced lattes with
If
whole
that's your
milk.
advice, you're fine. I think if that.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Carla, where in the city are you?
I'm in Central Park.
Good shit. All right. I live on the Upper East Side and bartend on the Upper East Side if you want to come visit.
Oh, really? I'm on the Upper West. Come visit.
Yeah. Just take that M86 crosstown.
Meet at the upper middle.
For the gram.
New York.
Yeah, so I didn't mention this earlier, but both Carla and Chris and Jillian as well are all in New York. So they will be in proximity of each other after shooting and can potentially maintain their friendships if they create them. Versus me and Michael and Austin are all in Charleston, and then poor Maximilian's all by himself in Asheville.
I mean, I look out my window and like I have that view. It's just nothing but trees and mountains, so I'm fine.
Hey.
You couldn't. I don't think you can see shit really. You can see some trees. You can't really see the mountains in the background. It's beautiful. It's lonely, but it's.
But yeah, we did stretch out our casting call for this because, it's actually East Coast flights are not that bad. They tend to be nonstop and not that expensive. So I expanded the casting call to Boston, to New York, to Miami, all up in there. And New York, man, I got so much good talent from New York and a lot of really good auditions from New York. And really, really excited to bring in some new blood and see what you guys can do. Let's see what else is there on guys. If you want to throw anything into the chat, feel free.
Unless I get
I know nobody's asked about it, but I think the hardest part is going to get all of the audio, so we have a new audio recording device.
Yes.
Oh, what?
It's got 8 inputs, so I'll actually be able to record everybody on one device.
Oh man!
Somehow he's going to attach this to his chest when he's.
It's got little handles on the side. You can.
That's some sweet audio swag, man.
I can't wait to watch Austin walking around on set because he's always usually like wearing like 4 different things to record sound.
Yeah, I was tired of having that many mixers on my body at once.
So now he's just gonna walk around like one of those like steno secretaries from the '60s with a little table vest and like be able
Just completely blank stare, just like.
Yelling at Maximilian for being on the microphone.
Okay, so
Oh my god, I'm the worst on that. I'm sorry. I will be better.
And that's why I won't let you have either leather or pleather.
yes, gotcha. Now it's justified. It's coming back.
You can do canvas, cotton, polyester. I don't care, but
Can't be better.
I have a question from Hazelby 3000. They asked, who are your acting inspirations? I believe Maximilian and Michael have gone over that question before in previous streams, so I'm gonna lend that to Chris and Carla. Who are some of your acting inspirations or acting role models?
At the moment, I would say Constance Wu is just killing the game. I'm very excited to see her in Hustlers, which I haven't seen yet. I loved her sense of humor in Fresh Off the Boat, and then how she transitioned her whole self into the character in Crazy Rich Asians. I was blanking out. Sorry for a second. But yeah, at the moment, I think she's just pretty inspirational for me.
Solid.
It's tricky because I've been watching more cartoons than I have been watching actual television as of late. Yeah, and then I like just listen to podcasts about politics. So, but in terms of like who is one of my like all-time favorite actors, I could do that route, and that would be Robin Williams. He's like, for sure, like he's just a person who's like, I don't know what it is about hearing his voice, it just always rings true in my heart. And he's also a person who like also like just managed to get away with being very large on screen, even when like maybe like the context didn't fit, but it still fit for him. Like he was just able to be big and himself in any role, and for me it always worked. So yeah.
Awesome. I think we all love Robin Williams and miss him very dearly.
Really.
I have a couple questions for Chris related to his band, The Minute Before. Hazel also asked Chris, my favorite song from The Minute Before is Tear Me Down. What's yours?
Oh man, yo, okay. Everybody in the band's gonna freak the fuck out when I tell them that. That's so cool.
The band called The Minute Before.
Yeah, The Minute Before. I'm in a band. It's called The Minute Before. Our music doesn't suck. It's pretty good.
Great band name.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. Wow. In terms of the songs that we have out, that like, so like, I love that you love Tear Me Down. And quick background on that. That song was written initially by our singer. She sent us a video or a soundbite of her singing the whole song all the way through, and there's this little like 4-note tone that kind of like drones in at the beginning of that track. She was initially just playing those 4 notes on guitar over and over again, singing the entire song all the way through. And me and my buddy Trevor, who's the lead guitarist, we were just like sitting, chilling, playing video games on a rainy day when she said that to us. We're like, oh, wrote the rest of the song in 20 minutes. Which like doesn't always happen that way, but it just did for that one. My favorite on the record would probably be Significance, because that song was all structured around a bass line that I wrote at probably like the most heartbroken I'd ever been in my life. And I didn't know I had like always had visions of what that song was going to sound like fully. And then when I like showed it to Trevor and Emily, and their vision just kind of matched up with mine, and they wanted to make it sound the same way. And then hearing it for the first time in the studio sound the way it sounds, like just like I was crying through that whole mixing session as that was coming together. So that's probably my favorite track.
Awesome. Carla, I know that he's in a band. Maximilian and Michael do a lot of musical theater and stuff like that. Do you have any connection to music yourself? Do you play any instruments or anything like that?
So my parents tried with me very hard when I was growing up. I did a little bit of piano, a little bit of flute, a little bit of guitar. All of that is sadly gone at this point because I didn't keep up with it, and my parents are probably crying at home thinking that they wasted money. But I wish I was more musical. I wish I had the talent to be a good singer. I'm sadly not, so I'm really excited to see the cast members bring in a little music session during breaks and jamming us out.
Hey Chris, you didn't know this until now, but we're day together, you and I. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Music day.
And Michael are gonna sing, and you can play and sing, and everyone can sing. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be.
Oh my god.
So he mentions that. Well, I mentioned the karaoke streams we did earlier where Chartreuse likes to sing. We do this thing called Twitch Sings. It is basically like Guitar Hero, but only singing and also live to an audience on Twitch.
But also Guitar Hero?
Well,
Online
not the guitar, just the singing part.
Okay.
So it's a library of like 2,000 songs
R.I.P.
that you've heard of.
The Rock Band fan myself, you know.
Made by the same studio though. That was Harmonix, man. They made the original, stole that shit, and they're like, we'll make a better one.
Harmonix, baby, all day.
Yeah.
We do sometimes bring in the guitar.
Harmonix made Twitch Sings also.
I believe they also did make Twitch Sings. Yeah, I mean they're like the only rhythm music company there is.
Amazing.
But yeah, so there's like a library of 2,000 songs. 30 of them are Beatles songs. Like there's a lot of stuff, and it's just like you sing. It's just karaoke. And we the last time we were all together, we did a Twitch Sing stream with everybody, and it was a lot of fun. And we learned
It
that
lasted so long.
Michael
Like, so long.
Michael is the most amazing LeFou. He sang Gaston like he was on the Broadway stage.
Oh.
It was amazing.
Give the guy
Is
a
there
Grammy.
any other way to do it?
Yeah.
And the two of you did really good job at that Rent song as well.
Oh, we did take you.
But yeah, we're gonna try to fit that in at some point during the week. We'll see.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And don't worry, Carla, I cannot really sing myself. So
Lies.
so we'll let them do the good singing, and then we'll be the comedy acts on the side. It'll be good. Okay, JJ insists that we ask stilettos or wedges.
Is that for everyone, or?
I guess. I mean, stilettos for me. I think they look better. Wedges are more comfortable, but sure.
I say if you're gonna put yourself through like massive discomfort by wearing high shoes, they might as well be stilettos.
Yeah, I'm gonna go stilettos too.
I agree. Stilettos all the way.
Because I mean, wedges might be comfy, but like they're not really comfy. They're comfy by comparison.
Facts.
Like,
I'll
what do
go
you
with
think,
wedges
Carla?
to be different.
Carla, what you think?
I'm that one girl who's terrible walking in heels, like any type of heels. I will
No
fall
way, me
on
too.
my ass. But stilettos look sexy as hell, so why not?
Yeah.
It's a weather
Right.
bug.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be falling over, we might as well look good doing it.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Yeah, and if we have time during evolution, which we probably won't because Jesus Christ, we have some stuff to do. But I know JJ eventually down the line, Chris is thinking that he wants to do another heel shoot. So if you do want to throw on some stilettos, I'm sure
Never done it. Let's do it. I'm all for those new things. Let's do it.
I'm sure JJ is exploding in the chat right now as soon as you said that. So I'm sure.
Makachino says, don't even need to be high heels. I just can't. Plus, it makes me even taller, and then my posture just completely yeets. Yes. And what's funny, Carla, is that I was kind of thinking, like, you're, I believe, like 5'5", 5'4", something in that range, right?
I'm 5'3".
Okay, so
A
you're
little shorty.
a little shorter, but not too much shorter than like Chris. Because we definitely had a couple people who auditioned for Tina who are like 5 feet tall. And I was like, they're going to need to wear heels. Because just in comparison, Maximilian is 6'1". So just that alone is like, you'd have to stand on that box to make that look right on screen, I suppose. But 5'3", we don't need to put you in heels. We can have you in flats. And also what a cliche that would be is putting poor Officer Tina Chen in 4-inch stilettos during her patrol.
I'll just be barefoot the whole shoot. Make everyone feel better. How's that sound?
Good.
However,
Never shoot his feet.
I will definitely be wearing heels.
Well, we were talking about Chris Miller's new wardrobe earlier, so why not? I mean,
He really came into his own. He's like, you know what? These stilettos. make me
Hawaiian
look
shirts and
cool."
stilettos. That's the way we're going.
I feel powerful. I feel smart.
Rocking that new detective position. Rocking that.
Hey.
Let's see. Chris, I haven't thrown this one at you yet. This is one I've thrown to all the others. What is the biggest similarity and the biggest difference between you and your character, Gavin?
Oh wow. I mean, biggest difference and biggest similarity. I mean, I think in terms of similarity, like he's definitely like Gavin isn't bad at what he does, and he is a person who is like will like fight very, very, very hard to do the things he wants to do and the things he knows he needs to do. he's also an individual who's very vested in making some sort of social change. Like that's why you take a public service job. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that this version of Gavin in the game in Detroit Become Human, the developer is literally like his character breakdown for the developers is he's somebody who's quote willing to do anything to get ahead. But this version's a little bit softer in this film. Like he is a person who's like he's reached detective, and I think he I think he does want success, but that's not why he's doing the job. And that's ultimately I think why everybody is an artist. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like, yeah, sure, I want success, but that's not why I'm doing this. Because like I don't know, because that's never guaranteed in anything. So I think that's definitely a similarity I have with him. In terms of biggest difference, I think he and I as people have both grown up a lot and changed a lot and matured in certain ways. He specifically though is a person who came from like hating some form of other. Like he's a reformed person who had a lot of fear and a lot of like anger towards an other that was very like and to an extent misguided and very aggressive. And this character is this reformed person who has learned and done his best now to make amends and be better. And that's like and it's I think I admire him a lot for that. And because that's not necessarily a way, I don't think that's a way I've ever had to change in my life. And I think those changes are particularly hard. It's hard to be so rooted in such a deep-seated anger and fear and then come around from that. Like that's a hard journey to make. And I admire him a lot for making it. And it's something he's still working on as a person. So yeah.
Awesome. Love that. And we have a question for Chris from Little Miss Mood Swing, our British Lisa. She asks, who are your musical influences, Chris? What kind of music are you into?
Ooh, okay, all right. Oh, that's an exciting question. So I'm all over the place. In terms of like where I got like what I grew up listening to, I think is a decent place to start. And my dad loved punk rock. My dad's favorite band is Rancid. And so I grew up listening to a lot of that, and then discovered like my introduction to hip hop was Rage Against the Machine. Like I didn't quite get into like full-fledged hip hop until I was really in college. But Rage was a big influence for me growing up, just in terms of like funk and rhythm and heaviness in music in general. And then I kind of found this like love of pop music as I got older. I was in a band in high school with a buddy of mine who used to make really cool like synth pop music, and that was like I started kind of getting into it from there. And then so my influences are kind of all over the place, because in high school I ended up loving prog rock a lot. I got really into like
Muse.
Primus and Humphreys McGee and Mars Volta and RX Bandits, Minus the Bear. Like this is all over the place in my music. And then college was a lot of hip hop, well, also a lot of post rock. I discovered Explosions in the Sky and like was super into that band. Nowadays I am listening to a lot of Betty Who. I don't know if anybody listens to Betty Who, but I am a huge Betty Who fan.
Yes.
Now I'm kind of just like been kind of really obsessed with pop music, and that's like kind of where I'm at right now. And the band is fun because it's got just everybody's influences. It's got all sorts of blues rock and prog and pop, and then Emily just ties it all together. So yeah.
Cool. I'm actually going to extend that question to Michael, Maximilian, and Carla as well. Just broadly, what are you listening to lately?
Oh.
Michael, I know you've been listening to the Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack.
It's so good.
Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack is beautiful and it's perfect, and it's track to track bangers, and I mean it's the greatest movie that I've ever seen, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Actually, right. So I listen to a little bit of everything. I'm one of those people who, like, if you introduce me to something cool, I'm gonna just devour it. I have been. I am currently in love with Chance the Rapper's "The Big Day."
Oh, yes.
it's top to bottom perfect, and I
Mm.
moved by
Hot
it.
damn hot water, hot shower.
I mean, start to finish, I just can't. It's just perfect. I listen to a lot of Janelle Monáe. I'm a big
Yes.
Oh, yo, Arc-Android came out when I was in high school. That was another like weird. Yo,
Oh my god, Arc-Android, like give me some Jane, man. What are we doing?
I saw her at Bonnaroo, and I think like 4 years ago. It was one of the best live shows I've seen in my life. She is a performer. She just she's a firework on the damn stage.
I mean,
and her voice is impeccable. Her style is like
last year, man. It was so good. Everything she does is so good.
Dirty Computer was like, it still is everything. Like just
my Janelle Monáe like peak song is still Queen because it's perfect.
That's such a
great music video. I mean,
so maybe we should do a Janelle Monáe song, guys.
100%.
Don't tell me it was a great time. But yeah, I listen to a lot of hip hop. I like Rhyme Fest and Logic and Kendrick Lamar and
Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
I gave some to Melody.
I listened to a lot of different stuff though. In high school, I was really into Linkin Park. Like everybody.
Oh yeah, same. Evanescence, Linkin Park.
I mean, yeah, like really into Evanescence. Like I did my Chemical Romance.
Oh yes.
I mean, what do you
guys? Parade.
What are you gonna do, you guys? I mean,
Simona in the chat says, if anybody in the cast listens to K-pop, I will literally cry in happiness.
K-pop? I actually know a K-pop like singer. Like a good friend of mine's a K-pop singer.
Carla.
Listen to me. I go to Dragon Con every year, and a couple of years ago.
I'm sorry, that was just so funny. It was just like, yeah, I listen to K-pop. I go to Dragon Con every year.
Listen, a couple of years ago, I found a K-pop dance party, and it is now one of my highlights. It is so good. I also used to teach high schoolers, so like they would all come into my room and go, "This new BTS music video," and I'd be like, "I guess so. Let's just do this." So listen, K-pop rocks. But Carla, you get in here. What's up?
Yeah, Carla, what you got?
I am very, very, very proud of how well BTS is doing right now. And just saying, I don't know what the title in English is, but I don't know if anybody knows Korean in the
Hazel
chat.
knows, I believe. Hazel actually sent you a message to me in Korean, I believe. I'll have to send it to you later because I don't know how to translate it.
So yeah, I'm obsessed with their song 작은 것들을 위한 시. I have no idea how to translate that. I'm sure there's an English title for it, but upset.
Hazel has made a lot of playlists for the various Octopunk projects, and inevitably there's almost always a BTS song in every one of them. So I've been listening to Mic Drop on like repeat, which is probably like and an Idol, which are like their two biggest songs, I think. But yeah, Simona's asking Carla any girl groups in K-pop that you like.
Blackpink is just crushing it right now as well. They did Coachella, and I think they gained an insane amount of fans over worldwide. And they're just amazing performers. I don't know how they have been trained. I mean, I actually kind of know how the industry works back home, but I think it's just amazing that they're able to have that dance routine down like to every angle and be singing live so well. I'm so proud.
Oh. A lot of the chat knows Blackpink. Apparently, they like them a lot. So that's really cool. Yeah, we actually have a lot of fans in Singapore and in I don't know if there's very many in Korea, but definitely there's at least 3 I know of from Singapore in the chat right now. So I know that they are into that scene. I'm getting so many questions about BTS now. We'll have to send BTS questions. Maybe Carla will do an AMA on Instagram or something at this point. And Lone is suggesting we do a dance video of the DE cast dancing to a K-pop song. I mean, I've watched the music video for Mic Drop at this point, and that would be insane. That would take so much work. That would take a week just to do that.
Well, we have so much time, Michelle, so why not?
So it is 2:00. I promise to keep everybody no longer than this. I will say we'll have one last question. I know Michael.
I didn't answer the first one.
Oh my.
I'm just kidding.
You have an AMA on Thursdays too. You can ask Maximilian about all the music he likes on Thursdays on Instagram.
I know.
I have one last question, and I know that some of you might have already touched on this or whatever, but what is the thing that you're most excited about making this film coming up in 40 days? What excites you more than anything?
It's layered for me. I mean, there's so many reasons why I'm looking forward to this. Like Chris, this is also my first feature. Getting to show not only as a gay actor, it's really amazing to me that my first is going to be playing a gay character. Like, that's just humongous to me. The representation in that alone is just like almost brings me to tears. And the fact that I'm also working just with such a diverse cast in general is really fantastic. My favorite part of this fandom from the get-go has always been people being inspired by what they see, and people being inspired to sing by the videos that I post, people being inspiring to like take drama in high school because of what they watch. Like, that has been the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from this whole process, is watching some people see themselves on a screen finally, and have these actors actually talk back with them and like have this communication with them and let them know that they're not alone, especially as far as like, I know I talk a lot on my page about anxiety and depression, and I've managed to touch a lot of people with that. And it's just the influence and representation is always like the most massive takeaway for me. It's just so wonderful to see so many people reach out and be touched by this work. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll jump in and say that it's, you know, to piggyback on that, it's so exciting whenever I get a chance to play a part that has absolutely nothing to do with like being a black person, and like how hard it is to be a black person. Like, it's just cool that I just get to be a detective and, you know, deal with androids. Like, that's so neat. That's really cool. That's the kind of stuff that I wanted to see more of when I started acting, and before that, just a nerdy kid in the sci-fi, and, you know, counting the number of black characters on one hand, you know. But I'm also really, I mean, things I'm most excited about. This will now be the third time that I've worked with Michelle and Austin on one of their sets, and they are just wonderful. They're some of my favorite acting experiences. So, like, getting to work with this creators is some of the best work I've gotten to do in film and television. So I'm just excited to kind of come home and, you know, do some more work on set and to meet you guys. You guys are really cool, and I'm excited that you guys are going to be joining us. Not Maximilian, but like I mean that I already know you. Like, I'm excited to come back to you, not meeting you like meeting the other two.
Old news. Old news.
I mean, this script is great, and I just can't wait to see what. I can't wait for everyone else to see what we're gonna do with these characters and extending them, and I'm really excited for the challenges. Yeah.
I love how Chris and Carla are just constantly in a know you standoff.
I'm also excited to portray a character that's not often out there for a minority female actor. There's nothing stereotypical about this character. She is Tina. She's just who she is. And also seeing the whole cast and having talks now physically for the first time ever, I'm just really excited to get to meet everyone. And I don't think I've ever had such a warm reception anywhere. So I'm just speechless.
Oh.
That was a good speech. Yeah, I'm very, very excited just because I think this project for me personally came at a very interesting time. I was just kind of like, not like finished like acting. I don't think I'll ever really be finished, but it was just like it wasn't a big part of my life this year, and that was strange because it's been the one thing I've pursued as an adult. It's the one thing I've known most as an adult, and this is one of the first years where I was like, all right, it's gonna just kind of be what it will be. And then this whole thing found me now and the script is great and the people in it are fantastic and the representation is out there and there's so much going on and the script is really, really exciting. And there's people who are excited and want to listen to it and want to like see it. And it's just, I felt very, very swept up by this whole process. And I just want to bring everything I can to it as best I can. So I'm excited. Yeah.
For me, it's actually been extremely surreal because I remember, probably about a year ago, at like 1 a.m, listening to cinematic covers of pop songs on my phone and thinking, as naturally comes to me as a filmmaker, just visual bits and pieces of, of filmmaking and of story, and I just kept going back to these characters, and I kept, I'm so immersed in this fandom, and I just wanted to tell stories with these characters. I wanted to get that shot with these characters and all this sort of stuff. And I remember thinking that was such a impossibility, that the things that I wanted to do were going to be too expensive. They were going to be, just impossible. And the fact that, I decided to, I guess in some ways, settle for Detroit Awakening, to do a 15-minute, 3-location thing with 3 actors, and just for as little money as I could possibly spend, DIYing almost everything myself just because I had no money. And pulling that together, and I would not have been able to get to do the movie that I really, really want to make here without the support of the fan base and without having that be embraced the way that it was. So it's the most excited I think I've ever been to make a film, and this is my 7th one, because this is something I've held on to for over a year now, thinking that I couldn't do this, that this was just not even a thing that could happen. So thank you guys so much, everybody involved, everybody in the chat, everybody who supported and donated. And Austin,
I get an exciting thing.
You get an exciting. I'm not done yet. Okay, Austin, what is your most exciting thing? What are you most excited about?
I'm gonna get another synth.
Not for this one.
Not really. I'm getting a new controller.
That's true. I'm just like, this is news to me.
I'm getting another controller.
Priorities. But yes, back to my heartfelt artistry. We were in Starbucks the other day, having our pumpkin spice nitro cold brews and thinking, and I turned to him and I said, it's so strange that I'm getting to direct a live action fan fiction feature that is as fan fiction-y as one can get away with in live action. And he was just like, yeah, living the dream. and it really is. I mean, I remember I've carried this for a long time, not just this project, but also since I was a teenager, and this was my outlet. Half of my life has been in fandoms and stuff. And so I feel like this has been a long time coming, and as I was saying, thank you so much to everyone who supported us, and who continues to support us through Patreon and stuff and helps us reach the full budget and not just the Greenlight budget. And thank you to all of you for joining us today for this lovely Q&A. I'm so glad that you guys all got to meet each other, and I am 10 times even more excited than I was to get started. It's terrified that it's only 40 days away and I haven't found our locations yet, and that sort of stuff.
It's gonna come together. It'll be just fine.
I'm getting phone calls every couple days from people that I thought had ghosted me. It's great. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up here. Again, thank you all for joining us, everyone present here and in the chat all around the world. Happy time zone. Hydrate or dihydrate. Go follow Chartreuse on Twitter.
And Instagram.
And Instagram, apparently. And also follow
my Grammy.
Follow all of these lovely people on Instagram as well. We've got links coming in the chat. The mods have been throwing links in the chat and stuff as well. Or you can go to instagram.com/octopunkmedia, where you can see all their casting announcements and find all their information as well. So hopefully this will be the first of many interactions you will have with these guys, and be sure to go show them some love. If you have K-pop questions or anything else, you can leave those or just comments. And I will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.